while back, a couple of years back actually probably, I did a video about my bike. I went over the components that I chose, why I chose them, just generally how I felt the build had gone. And it was quite a popular video, and it continues to get quite consistent views to this day. So I'm not going to go over all that stuff again. It's a Surly Ogre, Rohloff Speed Hub, Molok Bars, 27.5 by 3 wheels. If you want all the gory details, I'll refer you to the original video, link on screen and in the description. But recently I've had a few comments on there from people just saying, how do you feel about the bike now? Are you still happy with it? Do you think you still made all the right decisions? Have you changed anything? And so, coming at it from that angle, I've come out here today to revisit the Ogre. The big question, of course, is, am I happy with the bike still? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. Those of you who watch this channel regularly will know that this is my bikepacking bike. It comes out with me on adventure rides, on long exploratory day rides, out in the mud and the dust, the forests and the mountains, the summer and the winter. But outside of the videos, it's also just my bike. I don't own a car anymore, so when I go anywhere, this is how I go there. And it performs both of those functions incredibly well. The novelty of having a new bike has well and truly worn off, but still I can be fuzzy-headed and full of morning and not inspired to do anything. I take this bike out, a couple of turns of the pedals, and I'm there, I'm back in it. I love the way it feels, I love the way it rolls, I love the way the world looks from the saddle. You can't ask much more than that from a bike, I don't think. But having said that, the reason we're out here is because my thinking has shifted on a couple of points. I've changed a couple of things. Nothing very major. It is basically the same bike it was, but there have been a few minor alterations. So let's have a look at those one by one. I am still running Maxxis Chronicles. And this might raise a few eyebrows because in that first video, this was the thing that probably drew the most criticism. I actually said, I think, that when I came to change them out, I would not be getting Chronicles again. This is my second set of Chronicles. So this is more a case of my thinking shifting than the component itself. They aren't the grippiest in the world. They do lose traction on the slick a little bit, which was my main criticism of them. But over time, I have come to appreciate the importance of tyre pressure. And I never really thought about this back in the old days, possibly because I was riding bikes with suspension, possibly because I'm just not the sort of person who thinks about that kind of stuff very much. But with the 3-inch tyres and with the tubeless setup, I've really embraced that thing of being able to drop the pressure down if you're going to ride on sand or gravel, to push it right up if you know you're going to be riding on tarmac and things. And so I think a lot of my early criticism of the Chronicles came from me wanting to have a tyre that performed on every surface at a single pressure. And I just don't think that exists. I look back on the last couple of years of riding, and there have been moments when I've spun out on a slick climb and I've had to put my feet down, and that is annoying when it happens, but actually those moments are the exception rather than the rule. And in fact, the Chronicles perform pretty well on a pretty wide range of surfaces. So yeah, I've sort of changed my mind on those a bit. Ironic, because I don't think they make them anymore, so it might all be irrelevant, but whatevs. I'm still riding with the TRP Spyke mechanical disc brakes, and I still really like them. When they are tuned up, they are as good as hydraulics, I think, but the key there is when they're tuned up. I did mention in my original video that they need quite a lot of adjustment, and I don't think I really played up that point enough at the time. If you're riding regularly, if you're riding the kind of trails that require 100% brake responsiveness, then you're going to be adjusting these not every day, but very regularly. Often that's just a little tweak of the barrel adjusters. Sometimes you'll have to go down to the pad adjusters with an Allen key. It's no big deal. It's 2 minutes at the side of the trail. For me, it's not a huge issue. You know, I'm stopping all the time anyway, and I'm rarely riding the kind of trails where I need that like knife edge responsive brakes. But I mention it because for some people it might be a complete deal breaker. You know, if you need to set up your brakes and then ride for weeks without thinking about them again on death-defying rock-strewn single track, then yeah, maybe they're not the solution for you. But overall, I really like them, and I think the sort of simplicity and ease of repair and maintenance in terms of just swapping out cables and what have you, instead of having to do bleeds and things, is worth the small sacrifice. But that is a very personal view, and I'm sure will prove controversial in the comments. This is the first thing that I've actually changed since my initial build. Originally I was on 38 teeth on the chainring and 16 on the sprocket. But after my Pennine Bridleway ride, I'll put links up and down in the description, check it out if you haven't watched that. It was incredibly hard, incredibly beautiful, and it made me realise that I care much more about being able to climb efficiently than being able to blast along at any kind of great speeds. So I swapped out the 16 tooth sprocket for a 17 tooth. As someone who has never really thought that much about the details of gear in the past, I wasn't sure if it would make a lot of difference, but it actually does make a surprising amount of difference. I still spend very little time in 14, but I'm just able to climb that little bit better. It keeps me rolling along that little bit better. It's a very, very personal decision, I know, but it works. It works really well for me. I'm definitely prefer that kind of ratio, I think. The Molok bars I still absolutely love. They are fantastic, really comfy. The sweep is perfect for me. No complaints there. I think in the original video I mentioned that I had left my steerer tube at stock length because, as I said, I'm not the sort of person who's ever thought about this stuff before. I didn't know what I wanted, so I just left it thinking I'd cut it down later if I needed to. What I found is that I prefer to ride with the stance of a distinguished elderly gentleman going to the shops. I like to sit up very straight, upright, be able to look around, see the world going past to either side. So I wanted more. So in the end I swapped out my stem, which I can't even remember what it was before, but it was a static one, and I swapped it out for this Ritchie adjustable, which I'm still tinkering with the exact settings I like, but it gives me a little bit of extra height, lets me just sit up a bit higher, which is my preferred way of riding. Not everyone will agree with that, but it works for me. The only downside to that was that with the stem angled up like that, my phone on the little quad lock stem mount that I've been using for so long doesn't fit. So I did my first ever cheeky influencer moment. Some of you might remember that I did a giveaway a little while back, and Quadlock gave me some gear to give away. And so I messaged them and just said, I'm getting a new phone, any chance you could send me a free case and maybe an out front mount as well? And they just went, yeah, that's fine. Give us a shout out in a video. And they sent me some stuff. So yeah, I'm giving Quadlock a big shout out. Thank you very much for that. It's massively appreciated. this is not a paid endorsement or anything. We have no contract in place, but I've been using Quadlock stuff for years and years, long before they bought my soul with freebies, so I have no qualms about recommending them, even now they've given me free stuff. If you've got a phone and you want it attached really robustly to something, chances are they've got a mount which will do the job for you. So I'll whack some links down below. Go and have a look at them. It'd do me a favour, it'd do them a favour. Yeah, no like benefits for me, no discounts for you, unfortunately. Just a recommendation from me to you for a quality product. God, that all got a bit corporate then, didn't it? Onwards. I can't remember what I had on there before as a saddle. I think it was a Selle SMP gel, if I remember correctly. That kind of died. Again, that was partly down to the Pennine Bridleway ride. I did a lot of pushing on that trip, and pushing against the back of the saddle, all the padding kind of started to split away from the frame and it just became unfixable. So I swapped that out for another Selle. I can't remember exactly what this one is. It's not as kind of padded and jellified as the old one, but it's still very, very comfortable. Absolutely does the job. I think there's some truth in when people say that you don't need a really spongy gel saddle, you just need a saddle that fits your ass, and this one fits me nicely. I measured me bum bones and everything, so that's a big improvement. I've also got back into riding with padded shorts recently, which I never used to do. I had a couple of pairs, but I don't know, I never really liked them. But this winter I've got back into riding with padded shorts a lot, and I find them quite cozy and comfy now, so maybe that makes a difference, who knows. But anyway, new saddle, just because I needed a new saddle. Got no more intelligent insights on that front than that, I'm afraid. Somewhere to sit. So we come to the last thing that's changed, and that's my rack. My old one was years and years old, and it had done thousands and thousands of hard miles. It got to the point when it was held together almost entirely by JB Weld and prayers, and it just wasn't really viable anymore. So finally I got a new one. It's nothing fancy. It's a Topeak. It's like 40 quid or something, but same as the last one. It's really sturdy, it's really practical. Seat packs are rubbish, panniers are better. I will die on that hill, so come at me, bro. Hit me in the comments. I mean, the whole panniers bike packing debate thing it's a weird one. I've been told explicitly and subtly that I shouldn't post to the bikepacking subreddit because I ride with panniers. I'm constantly flip-flopping backwards and forwards between whether or not I should do a video on my whole take on what is bikepacking, what is cycle touring, what's the difference between them, blah blah blah. I don't know if I've got that much new to add to it really, but I keep doing little bits of research and maybe. What do you think? Do you want to see me do a weird philosophical ramble about what I think bikepacking is and what I think cycle touring is? Leave a comment, it might goad me into action if you do. But otherwise, yeah, new rack. I still ride with the rack. I love my rack, I love my panniers, and that's that. That's the shape of my bike in 2023. It's very similar to the shape of my bike in 2020 or whenever I filmed that original video. And the responses to this will be many and varied, I'm sure. Some of you will be watching, nodding sagely and thinking to yourselves, ah yes, I too could ride against the forces of evil on such a fine steed. Well played, sir. Others of you will be looking on in horror, thinking, my God, that thing probably weighs a ton. You're not going to win any sick enduro events on that. Both of these are very valid ways of looking at it. you know, we as humans continue to define ourselves and make ourselves beautiful by our differences. You choose your bike the way you live your life. You introspectively look at yourself and the world. You decide, what do you want? What do you need? And you go with that. No one else can tell you how to do it, though many, many will try. And I think that's me done. I've shown you the new bits on my old bike. Now we can all go about our days. What have I got coming up? I've got a couple of videos. Got a day ride with Alan that I need to edit. Gonna do a gear review of my new 7-road pogies. Been riding with pogies over these cold months, and they are life-changing and revolutionary. I won't say any more than that. They're amazing, but I'll do a proper review of those at some point soon. And yeah, beyond that, it's only early February, but it kind of feels a little bit like spring is in the air. So there'll be adventures. There'll definitely be adventures. If you are one of my monthly Ko-fi supporters, your name should be up here, and you should have also received an email from me recently asking for a postal address to which I can send some stickers to say thank you. Got some stickers printed now. I've sent out the first few batches of those, so hopefully a few of you have received them. If you haven't got that email, then you can either, I don't know, check your spam folders or just message me directly through Ko-fi and send me a postal address if you would like some free stickers. If you're not a monthly supporter and you would still like some stickers, the remainder of them will be going up on the Ko-fi shop when I get round to it, hopefully fairly soon. Hopefully there's going to be some spoons going up there as well. I've been working on a few more spoons recently. Look at that one, I'm quite pleased with that. It's not finished yet, but I'm going to do some nice chip carving into the handle and get it all oiled up. Got a couple more as well. So yeah, you might be able to buy some of my spoons soon. Spoon soon, moon, balloon, June. Yeah, I'm just ending my video as I like to end it, just kind of waffling. Don't know what I'm talking about now. Walking in the woods and waffling. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have either agreed or disagreed with all of the things that I said. I hope you have a wonderful day, and that wherever you are, you're warm, happy and well fed. I'm going to eat a sandwich, and I might do a little bit of whittling in the woods. See you on the next one. Bye now.